have anybody speaking on this.
Okay.
Questions? Sure, Mr. Melendez?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I'm somewhat perplexed by this one. And Mr. Kruppenbacher, it sounds like an outside HOA complaint board. Why is it in front of the school district? And can we...
Because there was a filing of the violation of that rule 7.20, I forget the exact number.
2.70.
2.70, and that requires that it be referred by the general counsel to outside counsel. It does not give me any discretion regarding that issue, and so it had to be referred out.
Yeah, but there's no way to see that the venue wasn't applicable because the school district and the taxpayers are paying for what looks like in a private matter. So I almost feel like asking for somebody to reimburse the district for this investigation, either one of the parties, because it doesn't even look like it's a school board matter at all.
Mr. Melendez, I have said to the board before, I don't agree with the way this rule is written, and if the board would support saying to me to bring back a revision that makes it more appropriate, I'd be more than happy to. But unfortunately, this is a very direct, specific direction to refer any complaint regarding a violation of that rule to an outside investigator for investigation.
Well, I don't know what the rest of the board thinks, but I mean, it sounds like somebody just went after a school board rule, just to come after a school board rule to have a hearing.
And that's what the thing says, can we just
Yeah.
close it out then?
No,
But I understand what he's
we paid
saying,
money
though,
for it, though. I want
because-
my
Oh,
money back.
I understand
I
what
want
he's saying,
somebody's
though.
using the
Yeah.
school district to do a private lawsuit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the taxpayer got to pay the bill for a private investigation.
I'm
So
with you.
somebody's got to, I want my money back. You know what
I
mean?
think we need to look at how these investigations are just allowed to be launched. I think that's a conversation that we do need to have. I do see your light. I have it here. Just give me a second. I'm going to get to you. So I agree with you on that front. Mr. Arguello?
Yeah, the attorney just said that under Rule 2.70, they have to be investigated. So there were citizens who came and they made harassment complaints under 2.70. As far as I know, those harassment complaints have not been forwarded to a different attorney, an independent attorney, to be complete. They may have,
What?
I'm not sure.
What report are you referring to?
Mr. Telfair?
The attorneys next to just, I believe, completed the investigation of that complaint, and I am awaiting, or I may have gotten, while I've been out, the final report. Natalie?
Yes, the final report was submitted to you and Mr. Telfair, I believe on Monday evening.
And
Okay,
then
good.
The one that was the teacher who came here and courageously spoke on behalf of her students, who filed the complaint?
I am about to conclude that. I have investigated it. I waited for the conclusion as to certain from the ER department, and I can speak to that more at the next meeting. But
According to the rule, however, that has to be investigated by a third party.
that's correct. But I specifically,
It's okay,
I spoke
Frank.
with
My
that-
point is that, of course, the whole point was when this whole levy of a tax came, right? Mr. Thacker said, well, if we have to do this for so-and-so, then we should do it for everybody. Mr. Arguello is not special. Hold on, Frank. So, but there's no one apparently more special when it comes to an investigation than I am, because you're going to lobby this BS. And Gunster's a great law firm, and they couldn't find anything really. So it's very interesting that, of course, I'm the special exception to the rule. But those are all my comments.
we investigate everyone we get. In fact, so you know, I'll put it on the record, part of the reason I have not referred out the teacher yet is I really want to protect that teacher, because I understand what professional practice could do based upon the facts, and I spoke to that teacher. You remember that night I advised her to stop talking because of the danger she would put herself in. So I'll speak more to that at the next meeting.
Mr. Melendez?
Okay, so Frank, Mr. Kruppenbacher, I'm sorry. On the last page of the, going back to 1803, the one, this HOA board versus Mr. Arguello,
Right.
you know, and it even says on the last page, the facts underlying the complaint occurred wholly outside the academic and work environment of the school district. At no time
Yeah.
was she an employee, a student, a volunteer, so basically nothing. So,
Right.
is there a way for us to go back after this person to seek some kind of, you know, compensation for just using the district and not even using the proper venue?
We shouldn't be punishing the
Excuse
citizens for a
Excuse me, Mr.
situation that you
Arguello,
guys
I'm asking-
created.
I'm asking a question to Mr. Krumbacher, please.
I believe your rule does not empower you to seek any damages or collect any fees against somebody who files a report. In revising the rule, we could put that in there. Some would say putting that in there discourages people for fear that they'd have to pay and don't file. Others would say it prevents false reports. Those are topics that we need to have a discussion on. I've said this before. This rule is defective, in my opinion.
Okay, yeah, so I guess we can talk about that later, because in my opinion would be is when somebody launches something, we can have like a preliminary investigation. We don't have to hire like an outside counsel just to look, yeah, exactly, to see, hey, do you even have a venue or standing in the district, and just kind of reject it initially without having to incur the cost of a big-time attorney coming in here and launching something.
Based upon what I saw to begin with, I would have closed it immediately and said it has no relationship to the district.
Right, okay, but that's for another discussion. I don't want to drag this out, but that concludes my.
Okay, I have Mr. Thacker and then Mr. Arguello.
I guess my comment is that the first sentence in this thing, there's insufficient evidence for to believe. Can we just vote to close this out and move on? Because it says there's nothing here. So I will make that motion to close it out. That's the right term.
Second motion.
Motion by Mr. Thacker, second by Mr. Arguello, with comments by second by Mr. Melendez with comments by Mr. Arguello.
Yeah, first of all, I don't think that we should be punishing the citizens for a situation which you guys yourselves created. You created this havoc, right? And at any point in time, there could be 20, 30, 40, 50 complaints about you guys if there was reasonable, if they weren't so reasonable, right? If the people here in this room were not so reasonable, there would be a levy of complaints against you guys. But you guys created this situation, right? You guys weaponized the school district, and now this is the consequence. It's just silliness.
Are you saying we created by the rule? Because I don't, how did we create this situation?
Because these are clearly politically motivated, right? And maybe not this particular one. Miss Thies is not politically motivated as far as I know. I have no idea. However, the other ones are, right? And you guys created a situation by going to an investigation every time somebody sneezes. You want to have Arguello investigated, which is fine. But now you can't punish the citizens because they're taking advantage of it, right? So
Well, I for one would say I've never dealt with a situation where we've had so many investigations, so that's.
I know,
something-
but there was
May
one
I finish?
investigation.
May I finish? Thanks. Thank you so much. I do agree that it is too easy for these investigations to be levied, especially because we are paying for this. And that's something that I've already had conversations about. And I think that we need to have further conversation about it. But I just want to state in my own voice and for the record, because I live in this community as well, that I have nothing to do with these investigations. I think that we've wasted a lot of time in them, which is why I wanted to bring them to the board to close them out. But I have nothing to do with the investigation. And please refrain from making comments like that, blanket comments about board members without any evidence to the fact. You have something else to state?
I do. I'll use the example of the investigation on you. When I was sitting in the office back here, and you kicked down the doors, kicking, screaming, threatening, creating a giant havoc that people
Being
thought that there was.
emotional, right? You need that for your campaign, yeah? Go ahead.
Here's the thing. The fact remains,
Mm-hmm.
you busted into two doors, okay, I literally thought that there was a school shooter on campus when you came in screaming obscenities, okay? And that was investigated, and it said that you did nothing wrong. The point is, no one has any confidence in these. If you can kick down somebody's door yelling and screaming obscenities, then there's just no reality to this. And everybody knows you're full of it. That's the problem. Is
I'm
that
full
you
of
guys
it.
have
Got it.
weaponized the system.
No, got it,
I'm
got
speaking
it.
still. You guys have weaponized the system, and then you've robbed it of any credibility at the same time. So
But
shame on you.
most of these investigations have been levied by you, so I would suppose that if the investigation said something different,
My
then
investigations
it would
have
probably
to
not
do
be
with-
BS,
My
right?
investigations have to do
Exactly.
with wrongdoing at the district, right? Or you busting into my office
Because
crying
you
and screaming.
need stuff on me.
But-
Politically motivated.
I did
We are
not.
way off
I did not
topic.
do
Can we
that.
call this question,
Yes.
please?
I have a motion by Mr. Thacker, second by Mr. Melendez.